Good day, everybody. Steve Prziborowski here. Welcome to episode 33 of Reach for the Firefighter Badge. Episode 33 is going to be discussing the future firefighters to-do list, part 3. Episode 31 discussed about the first 9 or so items. Previous episode 32 discussed about another 9 or so items. And now we're going to discuss about another 9 or 10 items. So let's get started. These webinars are based on 2 of the books I've been fortunate to have published over the years. Number 1, The Future Firefighters Preparation Guide, and then number 2, Reach for the Firefighter Badge. 2 distinct books that complement each other to help you be the best candidate you can be. More information on my websites that I'll share at the end. Your to-do list, some more items. If you're thinking about getting a tattoo, consider the message and the placement. There's nothing wrong with tattoos. Tattoos are very mainstream in today's society. I don't have tattoos. I'm not a tattoo guy. That's just my style. It is what it is. Nothing personal against me, nothing personal against anyone that has a tattoo. But it's not uncommon for some departments to actually have policies related to tattoos. So departments are very hit or miss depending on tattoo policies. I encourage you to do your homework. If they do have a tattoo policy, they will usually let you know on the job announcements when you're applying, you know what you're getting into, or they'll have that information on their website. Like my department used to have a policy that said, pretty much it was very restrictive on tattoos. We have since loosened up the policy a little bit just to be a little bit more flexible. But the key thing is, like with most departments, not most departments, a number of departments do not allow tattoos when you're in your t-shirt. And you may say, well, I'll just have a long sleeve shirt on. Well, right now, imagine it being 90 or 100 degrees out, or if you're working in Phoenix or Las Vegas at 122 in the summer where you can fry an egg on the sidewalk. You want to wear a long sleeve shirt in the middle of summertime? Well, I'm not saying that's their policy, but like I said, just do your homework. If you have a policy, if you have a tattoo, it doesn't mean that you can't get hired. You can. Many firefighters across the country are proudly sporting tattoos. The key is if you're getting another one, I would consider maybe not below the t-shirt, meaning on your arms. So as long as it's not visible here, whereas if it's above your, I guess the edge of the shirt here, it's covered by a shirt, covered by shorts, it's probably okay. And you may be, well, I want to get it on my leg. I want full sleeves. Hey, more power to you. Go for it. But just realize there may be some departments that say it can't be visible in a t-shirt or shorts, some departments. So I'm just trying to have you go in eyes wide open. And before you want to sue them for discrimination, realize the department has the right to do that, and many departments have been doing that successfully for years. So that said, just consider where you're placing it. I mean, like I said, you can get them anywhere, but a lot of departments don't allow them visible in the bare arms in a t-shirt, or maybe even on the face. Regarding the messaging, one of the things that will come up, and you may go, well, I'll just hide the tattoo. They won't know I have the tattoo because I'm going to wear my suit to the interview and they won't see it. Well, they won't see it. However, when you get to your background investigation, one of the questions that's asked during a background investigation is, please list any tattoos, notable scars, or anything else. And then you go, oh man, but you're going to wear a suit to the background investigation meeting. Well, I'll just lie about it. Well, there's still going to be more check and balances, because trust me, when you get to the medical examination, which is usually the last step, then the doctor is there to make notes of any tattoos, scars, or anything else. So you can't hide the stuff, just be honest. And regarding the messaging, one of the things that they look for is just, is there any gang-related messaging to it? Because you may be going, why would that matter? Well, again, many departments probably don't want to hire anybody with gang affiliation. So just again, consider the professional messaging and placement. Again, nothing wrong with tattoos. They can, I guess, be very respectful if done in the right way. I guess I'll use it that way. So number 19, stay out of trouble so you don't disqualify yourself before you even get hired. One of the previous episodes discussed, not disqualifying yourself. So I encourage you to go check that episode out, just so you know more about what not to do. Because again, when you're competing with hundreds of candidates, thousands of candidates, you don't want to do anything to make it easier for them to say, hey, thank you, Steve. Thanks for playing. Have a nice day. We're going to hire somebody else. So try your best to stay out of trouble, meaning don't get arrested for anything. Try not to do anything stupid that's going to come back and bite you. I know there's probably things we all did when we were in high school and junior high that were going, why did we do that? Well, because we were in high school or junior high, and some of us in college. But hey, you know what? We can't change our past. We just got to be upfront and honest about it. And hopefully it wasn't that bad, that it's going to keep you from getting hired. So just leave it at that. Number 20, I encourage you to work on your 2-year degree, or 4-year degree if you think you ever want to promote to captain or above. Now, a 2-year degree, especially if it's in fire technology, can be very beneficial, because I'm a big fan of don't prepare for the test, prepare for the position. How do you prepare for the position? By getting your 2-year degree in fire technology, because most colleges that have 2-year programs in fire science or technology also usually have an EMT program, maybe an academy, maybe even paramedic school. So more value for what you're getting. You'll learn more, as I've shared, at a 2-year college than you'll probably ever learn on the job, just because we don't have that much time to give you that much training and education. Now, I say 4-year degree. I don't know of any departments that require a 2-year degree, let alone a 4-year degree. But if you ever in the future want to, say, become a captain, or maybe a battalion chief, deputy chief, or even a fire chief, I would encourage you to get that 4-year degree knocked off as soon as possible. Number one, because a lot of departments are starting to require degrees for their officers. Our department requires a 4-year degree for battalion chief or above. And when I say get it as soon as possible, is the longer you wait, the tougher it is, because the longer you've been out of school, and especially the older you get, maybe you have family, you have other commitments, a second job. The last thing you want to do is go to school to work on your degree when you've been out of the game for a number of years. So it's nice to get things done early. Whether or not you ever use it, you've got it. It's a nice resource to have when you can especially do it on your own terms. Now, some other items, obviously, I encourage you to get your EMT certification if you haven't already, only because a lot of departments require you to have EMT just to apply, meaning you can't even be considered without EMT. So it's almost a necessity in today's fire service, mostly because we run 60, 70, 80% EMS calls. I encourage you to consider getting your paramedic license. One of the other episodes talked about, should you become a paramedic? You should, not to become a firefighter, but because you want to be an asset to the department, and because you realize most of our calls are medical in nature, and you realize it'll reduce your competition from hundreds or thousands of people down to double digits. But make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, so you don't shortchange your future patients, coworkers, department, and so forth. But paramedic license definitely increases your odds, because departments today are still struggling to find quality applicants that have a paramedic license, and especially maybe some paramedic experience. You know, I've touched on, if you can get a Firefighter 1 Academy completed at a college, go for it. You got nothing to lose. I know some people say, well, Steve, why would I go to a college academy when the department's going to put me through anyone? That's just like double wasting my time. It's like, no, it's not. It's preparing you for the career you want to get into. You know, those that are most successful on the job are those that are probably have gone through an academy. Because think about it. If you've never had a college academy, you've probably never had a chance to throw ladders, pull hose, use any of the tools. And then all of a sudden you get hired by your dream department, and now it's the first time you're actually doing any of this stuff. There's a lot of people that do struggle with a lot of the physical task level stuff, like throwing ladders, pulling hose, donning SCBAs, tying knots. And again, the benefit of going through a college academy is you're doing it on your own terms. Hey, if you fail out of the college academy, like many do, you can come back the next semester or the semester after that. You fail out of the recruit academy at the fire department of your dreams because you maybe have trouble tying knots, they're probably not going to offer you a second chance the next time they have an academy. And then good luck trying to get a job somewhere else. So again, it's nice to get stuff done at the college level, because it's almost like a training ground. I mean, it's usually the same training as the departments provide you. It's usually the same state Firefighter 1 curriculum that the department will provide you. So doing it once at the college makes it a hell of a lot easier when you actually get hired on the job. And then the next item, I encourage you to, if you have a smartphone, check out the PulsePoint app. There's many departments around the country, probably 100 plus, that use PulsePoint as like a dispatching software. So PulsePoint is an app that our department uses, just like many others, but you can subscribe free of charge to many other departments, and you can hear radio traffic. You can also see real-time calls. So all of our departments in our county uses it. Like I said, you can go down Los Angeles County. There's many big city fire departments, county departments that use this around the country. And it's a great way to learn more about that fire department. So if you're testing, say, for a fire department, let's use Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska, I think they've got 16 firehouses. They're currently testing for Firefighter. Well, Lincoln, Nebraska is one of the departments using PulsePoint. So what's the benefit? Go to PulsePoint, bring up Lincoln, Nebraska. You can hear their calls. You can see all their calls in real time. It gives you a flavor for what their department responds to and how they talk on the radio. And you can learn so much about a department free of charge through the PulsePoint app. Plus, you know, it's like when my neighbor sometimes goes, hey, what's the fire engine doing down the street? And I always have to tell the same story. Hey, I don't know, let me look on PulsePoint here and I can see, oh, San Jose Fire is down the street because they're responding to a medical call. It doesn't tell you chest pain, it just says medical call or, you know, structure fire or gas leak. But it's just so funny that people, it's like, just download the app, it'll give you the information. You know, there's so much free information out there. Also, on the subject of real-time call volume, some departments actually have their call volume, you know, real time on their websites. There's also free scanner applications, scanner like radio scanner applications that you can download to your smartphone or probably access on the internet free of charge and get departments around the country and get their real live radio traffic. Boston Fire, Chicago Fire, Detroit, Los Angeles, FDNY, Seattle. So I encourage you to, you know, especially if you're testing now for a certain department, go listen to that department, listen to their radio traffic and start learning about the department. You know, you'll hear rig numbers, how they operate on scene, their standard operating procedures. A great way to learn a lot more about a department and find out what's going on down the street if your department uses that. Oh, and one of the best benefits about PulsePoint is the CPR portion of it. Really, PulsePoint was developed by one of our local retired fire chiefs because he was having lunch with some people in a restaurant one day while he was on duty, which he was able to do. Well, apparently, all of a sudden, unbeknownst to him, somebody was having a cardiac arrest on the other side of the restaurant, if I remember this correctly. And here he sees his engine company coming up and they're starting to do CPR on the person. And he's like, man, it would have been nice. And then you may say, well, the chief should have had his portable radio with him. Okay, the fire chief of a department that's like 10 stations or more, a fire chief who also has multiple deputy chiefs, multiple assistant chiefs, division chiefs, battalion chiefs. A fire chief of a department that size does not carry their portable radio. It's not that they forgot where they came from. They don't respond to calls. Battalion chiefs will carry their radios just like the captains and firefighters, but a chief that size typically doesn't. And that's not that he doesn't care, it's just usually not appropriate to have the big squawky radio. Now, if he was a chief of, say, a 1-station, 2-station department and he was the only chief on duty, yeah, he'd have his radio. But he created this app because he's like, you know what? I want to be notified of CPR events within a certain radius. And now the benefit of PulsePoint, if you opt in and you're CPR trained, you could be out shopping at whatever supermarket. And if someone calls 911 because of a CPR call and you've opted in that you're trained in CPR and you're willing to assist, it'll notify you and you may be able to do CPR before the fire department even gets there. So it's a great way to help save lives, but also learn more about the department. And then some other items on your to-do list. Speaking of firehouses, I encourage you to learn the locations of every firehouse within the city you live. If you live in the city of New York, which has like 230 firehouses, good luck, start learning. It's gonna take you a while. And you may go, 230 firehouses, Steve? Screw that. Okay, well, if you wanna work for the FDNY, which I don't know, serves the city of New York, the 5 boroughs, if you wanna work for that department, then you better learn the addresses of each of those firehouses. And you go, I'm never gonna learn all addresses of 200, you better. Because think about it, just because you're assigned to station 1 doesn't mean that you're not going to do a move up or be told, hey, by the way, I need you to go to work station 3. The last thing you want to do is when your chief goes, hey, I need you to work next shift at this address, or I need you to cover over here. Last thing you want to do is say, chief, oh, what's the address of station 5? I mean, you don't want to be that person versus, all right, chief, station 5 tomorrow, I'll be there. Or let's say you're on the engine driving on your first day, which is possible. And your captain goes, all right, there's a 5-alarm fire over here. We're getting dispatched to move up to station 13. Oh, where's 13, Cap? You don't want to be that idiot. Instead, you want to say, all right, station 13. Your captain's probably looking at you going, okay, this is your first day on the job, rookie. You probably have no freaking clue. So where are you going, kid? Station 13 is the corner of Main and First Street. Am I correct? Yeah, you're correct. Go for it, brother. You just gained umpteen credibility within your captain and crew because you knew your shit. And I encourage you. That's why it's a challenge working for a big department because there's a lot of firehouses to learn. But you know what? For a smaller department, it's a lot easier. But again, you don't want to be that person. Well, how do I get there, Cap? No, you're driving that rig, or let's flip it around. Maybe you're the one in the back, first day on the job. Your driver's the one going, hey, where's station 13, Cap? We don't get there too often. And then your Cap, I don't know, I got to look it up on the map, which is very possible. And then maybe in the back, you can tactfully, respectfully prompt them for success. Love that term, prompt for success. Hey, Cap, isn't station 13 at Main and First Street? Shut up, rookie. You don't know what you're talking about. All right, I studied all that information when I was getting ready for the job. I thought it was Main and First, but hey, I'm not telling you guys what to do. You guys can figure it out on your own. Captain's looking at the map. Oh, shit, rookie's right on this one. How the hell did you know this, kid? Know-it-all. Of course, that's a compliment, but it's just like, hey, you know what? You don't want to be that person that, I don't know. It's always good to, knowledge is power. Now, visit a firehouse within your city. And if you don't know where it is, go to your local fire department website. They usually have the addresses of the firehouses. Nothing else, knock on the door. Hi, I'm Steve. I want to become a firefighter. Can I spare some of your time to learn more about the career of being a firefighter for, say, the city of San Jose? They may say yes, they may say no if they're busy, but if they say no, they'll usually say, hey, we're busy right now, but can you come back later today or next shift or whatever else? Sure, I'd be happy to. So start visiting firehouses to start learning the names and faces of firefighters, how that department operates, and just learning more about the career. I encourage you, once you visit the first firehouse, then visit another one. Visit as many as you can. Visit a firehouse in another city. Again, find out what's different. Like, let's say you visited all the San Jose firehouses. Well, go next door to Milpitas. Milpitas has 4 fire stations. Visit those 4. You know, spend the time. It's a full-time job getting the job, and the more you can learn from others, the better. And the last item on this to-do list, get a physical fitness routine, whatever that is. Firefighting is a very physically challenging job, career, so you need to be in tip-top shape. And you're usually your best when you get hired. I mean, yeah, we have workout gear at most stations around the country, but you can't always guarantee that you'll get a workout time or routine available on duty. I mean, we try to, but we can't guarantee it if it's a busy day. So you got to have your own routine, you know, weightlifting, strength training, stretching, cardiovascular. It's not just running and nothing else, or, you know, or bicycling or nothing else. I mean, it's a combination of everything. So I'm not a fitness expert. Find a routine. There's a lot of good information on the internet if you do some searching. But again, have some good solid routine, because when you get hired and that recruit academy you're in is putting you through the ringer for whatever, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you're going to get your ass kicked every day during the academy because it's so physically fit. Some of it's classroom classroom stuff, but some of it's out in the field. Hot day, you're running, you're working, it's physically fit. I remember when I was thinking about testing for the city of Oakland in the mid-90s. Oakland at the time, I was a student firefighter, but they hadn't tested in 8 years because they were in between hirings and they had some budget challenges like most departments do at any given time. But I remember one of the requirements of Oakland Fire is they made the recruits, during the recruit academy, the recruits would have to run from the recruit tower all the way around Lake Merritt. And if I'm not mistaken, that was about a 5-mile run to go from the tower and around Lake Merritt and back to the tower. And I think they did that like every day. And I'm thinking to myself, at that time, I was not a runner. I'm a runner now, and I can easily do 4.5, 5 miles. But back then, I could not do that. And I know you say, well, nothing should be can't do. Right, I get that. But I tried, and I guess for whatever reason I couldn't. So, I mean, I would have loved to work for Oakland, but that would have been one of those things that if you do your homework and your research, you realize what they're going to make you do. So you got to be able to do it. Because if you're not able to do it the first day, and then you start getting behind, you may find yourself out of a job very quickly. So get a routine in, learn as much as you can on the internet. So while these first 29 to-do items will not guarantee you a job, they're definitely going to help set you up for success in some capacity, regardless of where you want to work. So as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. My contact information, my social media footprint. I look forward to connecting with you at some point. Please don't hesitate to reach out if I can ever be of assistance. So until the next episode and we discuss some more to-do items, take care, be safe, have a great day, everybody.